Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. My name is Vicky Iozzia. As you can tell, I'm proud to be the president of the League of Women Voters. And you need to know that something like this takes a lot of work to put together. Yes. And I did not do all the work. But we have a team that works to make all of these things work. And I'm so happy to be part of it and to be working with these wonderful women and men. I want to welcome everybody and ask you to please turn off your cell phones and your Apple Watch if you have one. Those are people who are laughing if you don't know why they're laughing. I didn't realize I had to turn my Apple Watch off, and I got a phone call during the last meeting, which I was told I would have gotten a $50 fine if I were in court. Wow. I got off easy. So please mute them. This meeting is in the process of being recorded because it goes on our website so that our members who could not be here will be able to see it. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One name. Little time to put all your stuff back on your line. I want to introduce our board members who do the work behind the scenes that make this organization work. Linda Abels. There she is. Yay. Scott Baldwin. It's right. Beverly Brown is not here. Maxine Connor. It's going to be very important to our speakers today because she's going to be timing you. I am Vicky Iozzia. Okay. Jan Hall. Yeah. Rosemary can't be here. Peg Kermo. Deborah Stager, who is our treasurer. Mr. Smith, well, I didn't see today. Okay. Folks, have you been being subjected to the things that I have? Every time I pick up my phone, every time I get a text, I get an email, I get a phone call with people saying that they want money. Yeah. Doesn't it get to you after a while?
Vicky, I'm here today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here today.
Oh, DJ, I still coming. And you see what? They stopped me from stepping on landmines. They helped me to get through things. So donations. Everybody wants donations. Doesn't it make you crazy? Uh-huh. Okay, well, the League of Women Voters it's a grassroots organization, and I need to tell you that most of the people involved here are spending a lot of their money to keep it going. I am the webmaster, and I have recently put a donate page, button on our upcoming, on our how to join. So you will be receiving one blast email asking you to make a donation, and if you can, we would very much. Oh, thank you, Vanna. You have two things that were on your table. The first one are the reminders. Now, I don't know about you, but if I don't have it written down in my calendar and then cross-referenced on my phone, I won't do it. So these are all the meetings that are coming up. And on September 21st, there's going to be a meeting at the Central Ridge Library for people who want to write postcards to get people to vote yes for Amendment 4. And Peg, she's still Vanna. Peg is the person who has been spearheading that. We also have 3 special Zoom events coming up. On September 12th at 7 o'clock, the amendments 1 and 4. On October 10th, the September 12th one is Floridians for Democracy. Because the October 10th one is league sponsored. And then October 17th, I'll be doing a live Zoom on all 6 amendments. However, if you come to our next meeting, you will hear that presentation live. Our October meeting is going to feature Supervisor of Elections Mo Bear talking about election security, and that's when I will do the amendments presentation. Our November meeting, now we have people that have such creativity. This has been such a tense situation for everybody. And here's my story. I'm going to tell you the story behind the scenes. I went to the Goodwill and I bought a little train set just for fun. I figured my cats would like it. They hate it. And Deborah came over to my house and they saw it and they said, "Oh, can we play?" And they put it together and they even put little cat toys on one of the toys and they with it. And we thought, we need to play. Yeah. If you come to the next meeting, you will have the opportunity to play with us. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do. Information on the newsletter, our Facebook page, and the website. Now, if you have a calendar, please put December 11th on it because we are going to have as our featured speaker, Sheriff-elect David Vincent. And that is going to be at Glory Days Grill.
That's the new one.
Where is
Somebody said, it's
over our little more.
Yes.
And big center.
Where they're building all those things. All those stores. Okay. You also have one of these. And you can read it, whether it's in English or on the back, it's in Spanish. I am going to be talking to you about misinformation and disinformation. And then we're going to have our guest speakers. We have one on video, and then we actually have 2 live guest speakers today. And I will introduce them when the time comes. Give me 1 second to they share this. Yes, Peg. Oh, I know what I forgot. Yes.
moment of silence.
Absolutely. Thank you. I forgot a couple of things. After the pledge, I should have said, would everybody please stand up and we'll have a moment of silence. It is September 11th for all the souls. We're sick. Do it see if you want to. For all the souls that we lost on September. Okay, thank you, folks. How many of you read the newsletter? How many of you read in the newsletter that you were going to be asked questions today? And if you knew the answer, you would get a goodie bag. Please don't fall out. Please raise your hand. You're ready for the first question? No? Who is the woman who has registered voters since 1965? Maxine is raising her hand tentatively. No? Okay, the answer to that is Dr. LaVon Gracie. See the big article about her? She spoke to our meeting at February. Okay, nobody gets anything for that. The next question, what is the fine for a league member making an error while registering a voter? I'll read it again. What is the maximum fine for a league member making an error when registering a voter?
Ostracism.
No calling out, please. And-
I'll get $20,000.
no,
Oh, I could read it. What?
it's two.
My answer was wrong. I was going to say 5,000.
Oh, okay, it's $250,000. I can't make this stuff up. That is why the League of Women Voters has not been able to register voters in Florida. It breaks my heart. Okay, you're 0 for 2, folks. Next question. What is amendment number 1? Yes.
It involves politics and tool,
It does. Can you say a little more?
keeping to continue to make it a partisan and not partisan.
Oh, you're so close.
They come to
Come on up and get this. Right now, school board elections.
Stay there a moment.
School board elections are not partisan. However,
The
winner, photo out.
The way it's going, you may be the only one. I made you laugh.
Thank you. One thing, we are reality based here. Right now, when somebody runs for the school board, you don't know what their political party is. The legislature wants to change that so that if somebody is running as a Democrat or a Republican, that will be part of the process.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what the implications are for that, ask me later before you leave. I have one more. Let's see. This will be dedicated. Somebody. Where will the league luncheon be on December 11th? I only saw your hand. When will it be?
Where?
Who said where?
Glory Days by the Walmart where all they're building all that stuff. Okay. What? Nope. Yes, ma'am.
No. Good job.
And when will it be? December.
December.
Yes.
11 o'clock. Sure. Right, see, I can get something right now. I need my clicker. All right, if you are like me, you are bombarded with information.
Job.
And sometimes. I leave no chance. And it gets to the point for many people where they don't know what to believe. The purpose of this PowerPoint is to help you to understand what misinformation and disinformation are and how it is used. This is a 2-part presentation. I'm only doing 1 part. The other part you can read about on the handout. But first, oh, turn it on. Come on, I know you're getting them.
I'm going to advance the slides over here.
Battery.
Operator.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, I'll get you later.
Okay.
Okay, Maxine.
Front person, key,
I just don't want to stand up. Should I put it in the writing?
All you have to do is click this. Okay, that's the next.
This one right here?
Rescue.
Are you on the right?
Bet you don't work here. I can't tell you, I stay up late, I do dry runs of this and it works, and then I get here and it doesn't. How many of you know what the League of Women Voters is? Yeah, we're nonpartisan, established in 1926, months before women got the right to vote. Men are about 20% of our members. And our charge is to research, educate, and advocate. So this is a League of Women Voters PowerPoint. I did not write this PowerPoint. Now you see it has part 1 and part 2. We're only going to do part 1 today. If you beg me at the end of the meeting, maybe I'll do the rest of it in another meeting. Okay, misinformation and disinformation. Go ahead. We're going to understand the landscape and explain the problem. Now, if you have a little trouble getting your head around this, these are very difficult concepts, and some of them are so subtle that it took me a while to be able to understand it and present it. Disinformation is something that is false or out of context, presented to us as fact. Now, if I said to you that I eat frogs for breakfast, once I put that out there, it's out there. And then Karen tells somebody else, and then Maxine says somebody else, and then it's out there. Maybe you didn't want to be mean, Karen, but it has that effect. Now, maybe you weren't sure if I eat frogs for breakfast. This information is misinformation that is intentionally false. Now, how many people here have never gossiped? Gossiped. Never gossiped.
I'm not reading mine.
No, nobody's raising their hand because gossip is such an integral part of our lives. If somebody starts a rumor and you repeat a rumor, you are participating in misinformation or disinformation. If you're really rotten and nasty and you want people to think that I eat frogs every day, then that's disinformation. Or you might go to AI and make a picture of me with my mouth open and the frog going in. That's done too. Those are all examples of disinformation. Now I have a plant in the audience who's going to help me do this power. Excellent. Okay, can you read what's on top, Karen, please?
What concern motivates you most to help your community address mis and disinformation?
Okay, think about these when she reads them.
People won't vote. The outcome of the election will be compromised. People won't trust the outcome. There could be violence or something else.
Okay, how many of you are worried that people won't vote? You can raise your hand as many times as you want to. The outcome of the election will be compromised. Or people won't trust the outcome. Or there could be violence.
You bet.
Or something else.
Yeah.
And that's why we have trouble sleeping. That's what misinformation and disinformation does. It erodes the trust in our institution. It helps polarization and hate. It amplifies fringe science and conspiracy, and it incites violence. And folks, if you think you're coming here for the answer to it, I can't give it to you. I'm going to tell you some ways that it can be combated. But basically, what this PowerPoint does is it makes you aware. You know, Karen and I are Toastmasters. We are always aware of when somebody goes, and timing and things like that. You will be aware of this because you'll be thinking the next time you see something or hear something, you're going to say, that's misinformation or disinformation. I have to call Vicky and tell her that. We all share responsibility, and it doesn't mean that we're bad people. It means that you know how bad a habit is when you try to break it. What would a whole society effort look like? When I see this, it reminds me of community organizers. Barack Obama was a community organizer who would go in there with the best of intentions, but he had no power. And some people would say, well, you know, you can't tell me what to do. In order for this to change and get rid of this misinformation and disinformation, we have to share responsibility. It's not the bad guys and the good guys. We're all guilty of it in one way or another. Everyone can be affected about it, and each different community shows the behavior differently and needs a different kind of cure. Thank you for being here, Jesse. My pleasure. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to talk about. Karen?
Whatever the form, misinformation, disinformation, rumors, junk news, conspiracies, or hate speech. It is all
Horrible.
harmful.
Sorry. Kind of like Vicky.
Ooh.
That's not true.
The issue is more complicated than lies and truth. It's not good guys and bad guys, although there are some bad guys too. It's much bigger than, you know, you can take a complex problem and make it simple and say, oh boy, this is the answer, but that doesn't mean that it's the correct answer. So these are the things that I'm going to be talking to you about, the tactics that are used.
Oh, me. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, how do you understand tactics? The key forms of problematic content are missing context. That's very interesting. Faulty logic, hate and dog whistles, conspiracies, old information.
No, just old.
Just old. Okay. It does not have to be false to be a problem.
Okay, next slide. Now, who knows what I'm doing when I go, danger, danger, Will Robinson? Everybody knows?
Lost in space.
Lost in space. Thank you. Remember the robot? Useless robot that just used to wave his arms and say, danger, danger. So the next slides are going to contain all this misinformation so that we can analyze it. And the first one is missing content. And that context, thank you. Well, you're all listening. I love it. I may be a fool, but you're listening. When images, quotes, statistics, or ideas are shared without important and contextual information, their significance can be manipulated. Karen?
Illegal aliens are far more likely to commit federal crimes based on statistics. They are 7% of the population, yet they commit 72% of drug possession, 30% of money laundering, 29% of drug trafficking, 22% of murders, and 18% of fraud. Fill that full.
Good, Kathy. Raise your hand if you believe that this is false. Okay, you can put your hands down. Actually, these statistics are accurate for the year that they were shared, and they're even backed up by government data. There are a couple of things here. First of all, the word illegal aliens. Second of all, federal crimes. But non-citizens make up a much smaller proportion, but they have a bigger proportion of federal crimes. So these statistics were someplace and they pulled it out to make it look like that's the reality for everybody. I see puzzled faces. Let me try to give you an example. I used to work for a little school in the county. We had very few kids. when the test results came out, if there were a few kids that did really well, it made the school look like it was wonderful because those few kids made the percentage go way up. Does that help?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so missing context. Here's another missing context, Karen.
When images, quotes, statistics, or ideas are shared without important contextual information, their significance can be manipulated.
This is a picture from the NRA conference. And what it said was guns were banned at the NRA convention. The truth is that guns were not banned at the NRA convention. They were banned while the ex-president was there and while public officials were speaking. There was no context, so it was not accurate. The next tactic is faulty logic. And faulty logic is comparing apples and oranges. It has there's 5 different ways that faulty logic can lead people astray. Karen, would you read?
Logical fallacies come in many forms: false equivalence, red herring, straw man, slippery slope, or an appeal to authority.
Keep going. You're doing great.
You want me to take the damn vaccine? Mail it to me and I'll vaccinate myself and mail back the paperwork stating I'm fully vaccinated. You trust me, right? Just like mail-in voting.
False equivalence. The two are not related. It could be a red herring, which is something that sends you off in a totally different direction, spins your head around, and you don't know what's going on. It could be the straw man. Have you ever heard the straw man technique? I just learned this. What's your favorite color? Purple. What's your favorite color? Purple. Kevin's reading. It's purple. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. What's the matter? You don't like purple? That's the straw man technique. Remember, the straw man supposedly didn't have a lot upstairs. Then there's the slippery slope. You've probably heard of that, where you say something and it gets exaggerated to
We
more than
heard that last night.
and appeal to authority. Oh my God, I have to buy so-and-so's deodorant or so-and-so's breath spray because, if they're a star, then I need to have it. Okay, next. Hate and dog whistles. Attacks based on identity and stereotypes that can be obvious. Now, we have many women of a certain age here, so this is going to hit a little hard.
Nikki Haley calls CNN's Don Lemon a sexist middle-aged anchor after comments about her not being in her prime.
And we know that women of a certain age are in our prime, right?
Just getting started.
All right, another dog whistle. Attacks based on identity and stereotypes and can be subtle and coded. Oh, excellent.
A 5th grader from Alabama and a 5th grader from Maine get in a fight. Who wins? The 5th grader from Alabama because he's 18. Oh.
Well, it doesn't say anything bad about anybody, but boy, does it say something bad. Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories have been going on. Oh my God. Probably since people learned how to talk. It's a situation where they blame other people. They might not come right out and say it, but there's a lot of innuendo. And like I said, once you put something out there, it's out there. It never goes away. It's like my father used to say, my father's best advice was, Just keep your big mouth shut. Karen?
Use your own pen when you go in and vote on August 2nd in Arizona. Bring a black or bring a black or blue pen with you. Do not use the felt tip pen they will try to give you. Share this. Arizona's need to read this.
And people will read that and obey. Okay, more conspiracy theories. Innuendo is a powerful vehicle. And people were told that vaccines either are going to kill them, or people were told that vaccine would have their children become autistic. And again, once this gets out there, people believe it and people pass it on. All right, here's the old part, Karen, the next one. And it has nothing to do with our ages.
Amazing, but not shocking at all anymore. Nearly 200,000 Florida voters may not be citizens.
So how many of you believe that? Okay. That was old content. It was from 2012, and this was in 2016. We know now that we have the most secure elections in the world here in Florida, because the governor said so. Next one. These are the tactics. The next time you see something, see if you can figure out which one they're doing. And they may not only be doing one, maybe clever enough to put them together. What makes disinformation so darn popular? How many people like to be right? I do too. I try to do it at least once a day. Next one. Motivated reasoning is that when somebody says, Maxine says something, I say, well, that's what I think, and that's what Maxine thinks, so we're both right. Just because we want something to be true, that doesn't mean that it is. Next one, emotional appeals. When people become emotional, it takes over their critical thinking. So if something is so darn bad that you just feel like you want to pull your hair out, it could be giving you an emotional appeal. I'm getting a little dizzy there. Or, next one, if they give you easy answers. These problems that we're having here don't have easy answers, or somebody would have solved them already. Next one, what makes disinformation stick? And the next one, understanding motivation. Who would do these things to us? Next one. Well, people with a political agenda, or people who want to make a profit, or somebody that's just rotten and wants to control people and wants to feel like they're in charge. Sometimes I wish we had Pinocchios. It'd be easy to figure out what people are saying. Next one? Okay, that's good. These are all the issues that we could be attacked on. So to recap.
Library books. You left off library books.
See, you read them. Yeah, I'll have to add that on. Tell them to add that on to the next time. This one. It comes.
Did I skip one?
You skip.
How do I go there?
That's okay.
Sure.
To recap, you'll have to listen instead of seeing. If you're listening, I know you are because you put all my mistakes. It comes in many forms. It lives in the gray areas between truth and lies. It appeals to our biases, our emotions, and desire for easy answers. Politics, profit, and pranks. Ooh, the 3 Ps. Motivate its creation. And if we're not careful, we can accidentally contribute to the spread. So, can I please Have a huge round of applause for Karen for helping me out. I'm the president and Karen's the vice president of education for Toastmasters. I knew she was coming today. I never asked her about this. We never rehearsed it. I just threw it on her. So thank you. We are now going to shift. Oh, don't forget to take this with you, because this tells you how to help misinformation and disinformation going to garbage can or things. Now we're going to switch to meet and greet, and people have been waiting so nicely. Thank you so much. Hello. She's not on the agenda. See, now everybody's going to correct me.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, but you think when you're the president of an organization that you have power? No, you don't. Everybody's always telling you what to do. And that's okay with me because they keep me on the straight and narrow. The League of Women Voters is nonpartisan. That means we do not endorse political candidates. These candidates have accepted the invitation to introduce themselves, talk about their plans. These introductions will be a maximum of 5 minutes. Maxine will be timing, and she will show you the paddles.
Paddles.
Paddles. So she will put up the yellow panel at 4 minutes and the red panel at 5 minutes. If you continue talking, she will shake the red panel. I've been so great about staying within the time limits. There were a lot of people who were invited today, and very few came. We had people from the Florida Senate District 11, Blaise Ignolia and Marilyn Holleran, and for various reasons they could not come. We had people invited from the U.S. House District 12, and one of the candidates, Rak Abu Jaoud, is unable to come. Gus Bilirakis came on recording. So the first one that you're going to see, I'm going to switch to Gus Bilirakis.
Stop sharing.
I've been honored to serve as your voice in Washington, D.C. for the past 2 years. My goal has been to earn your trust by delivering on the promises I made to you. Specifically, I promised to continue fighting to restore an America First agenda. Secure the border, in my opinion, we need to close it. At least temporarily, we need to close it. Stop reckless government spending fueling inflation. Reestablish American energy dominance. Push back against the weaponization of federal agencies. Stop the erosion of constitutional rights, and to protect our most vulnerable populations, including our seniors, our veterans, and their families. And I want to also mention the unborn. They must be protected as well. My voting record reflects progress on these priorities, despite the Democrat-controlled Senate's repeated efforts to block their full implementation. One of the most important roles I've had is in playing defense. We have to play defense until we get both houses, Congress and the presidency, and also helping to stop this administration from being able to implement its radical liberal agenda while driving our nation deeper into financial ruin. President Donald J. Trump has he's supporting my campaign for re-election. As a matter of fact, he's held a fundraiser for me in Mar-a-Lago, and he's supported my campaign because he knows that I will continue fighting to help take back our country, and because my strong record of getting things done is something that he really is interested in doing. He set out an agenda, which I agree with, and I want to help these particular policies. I want to make sure that they're implemented the right way. And we don't need these agencies legislating, and that's what's happening under this administration, unfortunately. I'm proud to have once again been named the most effective member of Congress legislatively in the state of Florida and a top member of either party in the entire United States. Now that's the House of Representatives. But also, I've been known to get things done in a bipartisan fashion. There are some nonpartisan issues such as healthcare, that we need to take care of our seniors. Of course, national defense is very important because if we're not safe, national security, if we're not safe, nothing else matters. So, again, I'm a very conservative Republican, but I also know that there are issues that are not partisan, and sometimes we need a member of the other party to work with us. When redistricting first took place, I promised to be a hands-on, accessible member of Congress with an open door policy and a team that would be deeply integrated into our community. I think we've done that. In addition to having full-time offices in each county, I hold monthly office hours and have hosted over 100 teletown halls or in-person forums in the past 2 years. My team has also completed individual casework. 5,372 constituents have been helped through my office. And I have sought constituent feedback through 2 mailed surveys and more than 200 electronic surveys. I also explained my voting record in these newsletters that we send out, these emails we send out on a weekly basis. Right now we have 215,000 constituents that have signed up for this particular email. Additionally, I promise to help return more of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars back to your community. These are your dollars, folks. If they don't come to us, to our community, Pasco, Hernando, or Citrus, they're going to be spent in other parts of the country like New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Los Angeles, and what have you. So I think we have an obligation to bring your tax dollars home. I secured $28.3 million critical infrastructure projects in my district. And in fiscal year 2025, I secured $18.8 million in the House budget to meet additional local government needs. And that's what it is. It's local government needs. That's what we go for. Really good projects. And they're vetted. These projects are vetted and they're saving you money, local tax dollars. So again, there were previously appropriated these funds, and I fought to make sure they came back here. Again, as I said, instead of being in New York City or California, they should come right back to the people that actually pay the taxes, and you should have the benefit. So, because you deserve your fair share, that's the bottom line. I'm also proud to be the 2024 winner for 2 national awards for constituent service, accessibility, and communications. And again, I gotta thank my staff for doing such an outstanding job. And we communicate with our constituents directly. You don't see me on TV too much, at least national TV. I'm on local TV when we have to solve a case for our constituents. But we're working really hard and communicating directly with our constituents and getting the feedback. So that's what makes me a good member of Congress, coming home every weekend and not relaxing really. That's my wife. Not relaxing really, but going around the district and listening. I think that's the key, is to listen to our constituents. I look forward to building upon this success if entrusted to continue serving as your voice in Washington, D.C. And I thank you for your consideration.
we have live and in person, the two candidates for Mosquito Control Board seat 2. We're set, Maxine?
Yeah.
And our first speaker is John Cena.
Hello, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for allowing me to come up here and tell you a little bit about myself. My name is John Cena, and I am running for Mosquito Control Board seat number 2. This is a nonpartisan race. I will tell you now, I'm a Republican. I'm a lifelong Citrus County resident, born and raised. I'm second generation. My grandmother worked at the Homosassa Elementary in the cafeteria. My grandfather worked at the Marine Science Station there at Crystal River. My mom graduated from Crystal River High School. I graduated from Citrus, sounding a little bit better. I also went on to get my bachelor's degree in psychology from St. Leo. I am married to my beautiful wife, Lisa. I have 5 children. I'm a Rotarian. I'm a Kiwanian, and I'm pretty conservative. When I say conservative, I'm conservative about money, and I'm conservative about our environment. Now, let me tell you about my pest control career. My career dates me back to 1996. I've worked for a small mom and pop company, and I ran one of the larger pest control companies in the state of Florida. When I ran the larger pest control state of Florida, it was from 05 to 07. I became a certified operator, which meant you could actually own and operate your own pest control company. My start with mosquitoes began in 1997, when one of my first routes in the pest control industry is where I would go spend 1 week of my life every month at Florida Power, which is now known as Duke. And my main job there was taking care of mosquito control and nuisance pests. And along with taking care of the mosquitoes, everybody's heard about mosquito dunks and larvicides, adulticides. One of the main things that we would instruct Florida Power was repair and replace. If you have low-lying areas, fill them in. Replace them with things such as lemongrass. They also, back in the day, I don't know anymore, they used to have bat habitats because bats consume quite a few mosquito-sized insects, anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 an hour. Yeah, right? Now, let me tell you about where the Mosquito Control Board is now. Originally, it used to have 5 operating board members. Those 5 board members were reduced to 3. I'm about less government, trust me. Those 3 board members do not have any days of experience in the pest control industry other than when the day they got elected. And this is all their first term. Add those 3 board members, 2 of them are husband and wife, which means you have a strong bias on the board. In the last 3 years, the Mosquito Control Board has been negative on the budget. Last year, spending $2 million. The year before that, $1.1 million. The year before that, $1.9. At the last meeting on the board had to actually amend the budget for 23-24 because of their overspending. This budget has not been finalized, so we will see where they end up. Helicopters cost money. They roughly cost you about $1 grand an hour when they're in flight, and also with maintenance. Helicopters, we're not a farm country anymore. You know, we got a lot of houses getting built here. Helicopters are very expensive, but you also get what's called a non-target kill. When you're dropping larvicide or you're doing adulticide, you're killing your honeybees. They will try and fly at night. Honeybees don't fly at night, but that's when the mosquitoes fly. Your anopheles are going to fly pretty much dusk to dawn. Your larvicides are going to drop, and they're trying to put them into the stilling waters. That's going to kill your tadpoles. These are not good for our environment. I want to have more ideas such as, filling in these low-lying areas, repairing the problems. And pesticide is not always the answer. My opponent will say she saved you money on millage. Well, millage is based on population moving into this town. Our county has not gotten any bigger since we broke off of Hernando County. Right now, they're playing with house money. Budgets cannot be handled lightly, and spending needs to be brought in. I've received the endorsements from the 2 past prior board members, Leon McClellan and Brenda Busby. Brenda Busby actually had a pest control company, so I always knew it was wise to have somebody with pest control knowledge on the board. With almost 3 decades of experience and in the pest control industry and the knowledge that I have with it, The insight and ideas will bring a smart and unbiased vote when setting budgets for our taxpayers. So remember, on the 5th of November, if you want to see no mosquitoes, you vote John Cena.
And our next and last speaker is Stephanie Adams.
Thank you, League of Women's Voters, for inviting me here today to speak. Can everybody hear me? Okay. No? Okay, close. It's okay.
It's kind of like a.
All right. I am Stephanie Adams. I am Mosquito Control Commissioner seat 2. I'm running for re-election for office. A little bit about me. I do have a Bachelor of Science in Applied Technology and Computer Science, and I have 27 years as a public health and safety. Mosquito control is all about public health and safety. Our board did reduce the millage rate from when I got in office, it was 4,478, and now it will be effective probably when we vote on it tomorrow, 0.3708. So the millage has been reduced since I've been in office. We also hired a public education specialist who goes out to our schools and meetings like yours or organizations, and she discusses the life cycle of the mosquitoes and what actually mosquito control does for the public. And we teach them how to dump water and what to look for and how to report things to mosquito control. We have developed a 5-year strategic plan, which we've always had, but now it's in writing because we had an APACA audit and they recommended that we put it out to the public. We are increasing the surveillance department, and we're currently working on upgrading the lab, and we do resistance testing, but we will also have a hatchery, which the resistance testing is comparing the chemicals we are using out in the field and seeing if they're still killing the target that we're getting. We often have to change chemicals because the mosquitoes become resistant. I have obtained my public health pest control license, which all the employees at Mosquito Control are required to have. I do not need that because as a commissioner, we're basically setting the budget and approving it. We are involved in the policy and making policy, and we also have to make sure that the district follows all the laws and regulations of the state of Florida. As far as the budget, there is no deficit. When there are amendments to the budget, that means at one point in time, some of the money that we budgeted for isn't all used, so we move it to other areas. That gets approved by the state of Florida, Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Now, we've had an audit last year from the Office of Program Policy and Government Accountability. They found they had no findings with our budget, and they said that we run a clean district, and we are recognized by our peers of the state. So the thing about mosquito control is we are not a pest control entity. We are a government public health and safety, and we're here for you to protect you from vector-borne diseases from mosquitoes. So when we do have, like we had 10 inches of rain a few weeks ago, we do have to spray adulticide, and we do have to spray and kill these mosquitoes because after about 3 days, if the water's still there, we're getting a hatch off. So we're overrun by the population of adult mosquitoes. So our main goal is to prevent any mosquitoes from hatching. But when you get 10 inches of rain, that's pretty hard to do. So let's see. Our being on the board as married people, my husband was reelected last election. So if there was a problem, he wouldn't have been reelected. There is no problem. We are elected by our peers, by you guys, to run for office. So we're not appointed. I wasn't appointed. I was elected last election. and he was reelected, so I'm getting dry. So my ideas and plans are to continue to follow our strategic plan, maintain the budget and reducing the millage rate as best we can, and to continue to update our lab so we can do our own in-house testing as we are now, but it's going to get better. So come November 5th, I'd like you to vote for Stephanie Adams from Mosquito Control, seat 2. Thank you so much. Now, any questions? I'll stay and take your question.
That's what I was just gonna say. Thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, speak among yourselves. Have a very good month and we'll see you in October.